Welcome and thanks for stopping by. I'm Digital Micro. You're on the Digital Micro Trading Journal channel, day trading for an ROI payout. No trade recommendations, no trade signals, not selling indicators. This is just my trade journal. We've got price action order flow levels Monday, August 14th, 2023. And the big story here is we've got a lot of range that happened in Globex. So far, what we're looking at is 36.5 handles of range, and over 24 of that happened in Asia. This is a weekly chart. We've got a new week. This is naked with no annotations, and you can see here on the left we've got the NASDAQ. In the middle we've got the S&P 500, and we've got the dollar. So for me, what I'm really watching is what's the draw on liquidity for the dollar, and it looks like here this trend of the upper bars weekly is not abating so far. So I'm looking here about this immediate retracement. This 2 bars ago, you see this long candle wick here, and we see the current price bar deep into Globex, and the price is hovering right around this high of the last week and the prior high of the wick of the 2 weeks ago. I'm going to pay close attention to the dollar, what it does, and equity indexes. For what I trade is the S&P 500. We went and we tested a low, and we'll go down, and when we come back up, we still have the middle of this prior week's wick. So that comes in about 40.19 for sure. That's a level. I'm going to go over into the lower time frames, but again, I just want to get the bearings here on the weekly draw, and it still looks like, again, for the last 2 weeks, we had a break in market structure, and then the structure for the week prior went to a new low, and right now we're hovering inside of the range of the prior week, but it's only, again, a couple of sessions into the Monday Globex. So I'm flat, no position. I did take advantage of the big Asian session because we went straight down like a rock. And again, it was nothing big, just a scout team short. But I'm just going to hold on to the cash, not press any buttons, and see what we do for the first 30 minutes of RTH. And I'm going to look for the RTH silver bullet. Next chart. Okay, so we've got the 1 hour chart, and again, I just want to reiterate the range already is 36.5 handles, and Friday's range on the S&P minis was 37 and a quarter handles. So we've already had a big range day. So I want to point out that weekly 50% wick. So that's what comes in right here at 45.19, that red line. And then what we have with price is we've already had a new weekend open gap from last week. So we have these candle wicks on the hourly, and we hit a low down here, and that was the August 11th RTH open. So that was Friday's open, and also the Asian low. So what I'm looking at here right now, just to blow this picture up a little bit, is the new week open gap, August 14th, low and high, comes in right here in this purple rectangle. So there's a lot of business here. So the first thing is we've got this 1 hour fair value gap rectangle. Then inside that, the purple crossover into that. So I think that's going to be a draw for sure this week. And if we break through and reprice this yellow rectangle, then for sure we could break London and New York midnight lower. But for now, if we have a retest up, as I mentioned, they'd have to cover new week open gap prior week and then go up to this wick. And what's above that is, again, that CPI number from the 10th of August, high of day. And that happened right at the silver bullet AM, and that comes in at 44.75. I don't see that necessarily happening on Monday, considering the range we've already got. So I am going to look, though, at this fair value gap here that comes in at the top of 45.13 and the bottom at 45.06. That could be, again, right before we hit the 50% wick. So there you have it. That's a breakdown on the 1 hour with the levels. This right now where price is, it happens to be a very thin yellow weekly fair value gap. Let's go to the benchmark and then we'll close with the Renko. So if I see a signal on this chart, this is the 15-minute benchmark, then I'm apt to do a trade. But I really have to see a really good setup on price. And the other thing, it's got to be the right time. So as I mentioned, no trades for me until 10 a.m. Eastern. And what I want to see is price get above these two red lines here that I've already mentioned. And you can see here, we've had this big bar, and this was basically the London bar, and you've got the London rate high. It's coming in at just above 45.01. So again, that's the candle wick. That's not the body. So if we can't have the bodies of price go above this weekly fair value gap, there's a good chance we plunge lower. So just sitting on hands, going to watch price paint on these candles, see what happens. Let's see what the Renko's doing next. Okay, here's the Renko with the Keltner. So again, a non-time-based chart with me overlaying all the annotations from the other charts on here. So what I like about the Renko here is the red is pointed up. That's the mid. And you see a consolidation of price in between here, the 1 hour fair value gap and the weekly. And notice how, again, we went up here to these levels that I was mentioning. So upper Renko's 45.10, lower blue comes in at 44.62, and the red's right now in the 44.86. So I'm going to watch this. It's not the time to make a trade for me based on my trade plan, but again, I like the movement we've had with this, and so I'm going to use this as one of my confluence charts to look at if I'm going to take a trade here in the next few hours at the right time. That wraps it for Monday. Stay safe out there. Again, it's the seasonal tendency that's going to be a little squirrely. At least that's what my mentor says for the last 2 weeks of August. So I'm going to pay heed to that advice and be very careful. No reason I need to push any more trades for the rest of the day if the setup and the time is not there. So again, price and time, that's what I need. Take care. Aloha. Bye.